So let's go to what side of the bracket's the toughest, Chuck?
I think the South bracket.
So Iowa State's bracket.
Yeah, I think Iowa State's bracket's the tough one. Some of them are fairly even, but this one you got Kentucky, you got Duke, very, very good teams. Xavier, would have been a 3 or 4 seed at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
They're a 10 seed. They can be trouble. Baylor's good.
UNLV.
Yeah, a lot of people like UNLV. I'm not as sold on UNLV, but I definitely like Indiana and Wichita State. I think it's very solid.
And VCU, you can't count out VCU either.
Can't.
Final Four team from last year.
That's a shock.
Well, yeah, we've got the national champions. We've got a Final Four member last year. Who else was in the Final Four? Butler, UConn, VCU, and who did UConn beat to get to the championship game?
Was it Arizona or
no? Arizona
Kentucky?
got out in the Elite Eight. That might have been Kentucky. I'm not sure. But if it was Kentucky, we've got 3 of the Final Four from last year.
Pretty solid.
Yep. And then we've got Indiana, which is the only team besides Vanderbilt who just knocked off Kentucky to beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
So that's a good, and I'd probably have to agree with you. I would maybe look at the East or West next in terms of how tough it is. With Michigan State, Missouri, or you could also go Ohio State, Syracuse. But I'm going to have to say Midwest. That just doesn't look all that tough. North Carolina, the 1 seed there. Kansas, the number 2. But after that, it just kind of goes downhill. I mean, Georgetown, the 3. Not really scared of Georgetown all that much. We've got a 4 in Michigan. I guess, they're a decent team, but Iowa kind of took it to them.
Yeah, you're only as good as your made shots with any of these teams, but with today's college basketball game and so much writing on being able to hit the outside shot, you just never know.
Yeah.
And yeah, if St. Mary's could get by Purdue, which there's an if also, but they could easily take out Kansas.
Yep.
And
I think NC State could be maybe a dark horse at an 11 in this tournament.
Yeah.
Ask North Carolina how fun it is to play them. And I'm sure North Carolina State's sitting there saying, I want to get to that Elite 8 game. Let's get North Carolina third try.
Yeah.
So,
why not?
That's going to be an interesting, I think first round matchups, or let's say potential second round matchups, best storylines, has to be in the Midwest though. If North Carolina can beat whoever they're playing, Creighton can take on Alabama, win them. You're going to see North Carolina and Creighton in that second round. You're going to see Harrison Barnes versus Doug McDermott.
That would be cool. 2
Ames stars. Greg McDermott's kind of a second father to Harrison Barnes in a way. They're like family, so it'd be a fun story. And then I hope that Creighton would kick the crap out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
And that would be awesome. What I found funny is, I'm not a huge Harrison Barnes fan for what he did to Iowa State, but I do love seeing Harrison Barnes, 3rd-team All-American, Doug McDermott, 1st-team All-American.
Yeah.
I thought Barnes was the better of the two, and he probably is, but that's what's going to happen when you decide to go to a school that's just going to produce future NBA All-Stars. You're going to be a normal-sized fish in a big pond. All right, Doug, he went to a Missouri Valley team. He's a huge fish in that pond.
Take note, Marcus Page.
Yep, great point. Marcus Page, take note. You're not going to be 1st-team All-American.
No.
Now.
Might be 2nd team.
Yep. Now,
might win a national championship, but
yeah. But I can tell you right now, you go to another school. Who else was? I think you and I was on them really big time. Let's say, or Iowa. You go say you went to Iowa. If you play the same type of caliber of basketball at Iowa as you are going to do at North Carolina, you could be 1st-team All-American.
Oh yeah,
because the team's on your back.
Yep.
You're the star. Heck, Barnes wasn't even the star of his team in his sophomore season. I think it went to Zeller or Henson this year.
Absolutely.
So, all right, good storyline in the second round there. Where should we go next? Teams that didn't make it that should have. Or no. Yeah, let's do that first.
I don't know much about Drexel. That was the team that they were kind of talking about, Washington a little bit, because they did win their regular season conference. It was 68 teams. I'm of the opinion that's a lot of teams. I don't have any problem with those teams not making it in.
Okay.
You can always say, hey, what about the VCUs last year making Final Four? Thank goodness we had 68 teams. You know, I'm not too worried about it.
Okay.
No big deal.
I thought Drexel probably should have gotten in. They didn't, but I thought they should have. They got beaten the championship game, I think, and or maybe they didn't get beaten the championship game. Might have been the one before that. But I guess the biggest reason I want Drexel in there is because I think their conference only got one bid. All right, we're not going to see the best team in that conference. We're going to see 15 and 18 Western Kentucky. So they're
Western Kentucky. I thought they beat Middle Tennessee State.
Okay, but I think Drexel's in that same conference.
No, Drexel's up out of like Pennsylvania.
Okay, let us know.
Get a hold of us.
Yeah. Okay, so whatever. Drexel's not in. I thought they probably should have been. The other one I want to make a case is for Washington. Okay, they always talk about the body of work, and if that's going to stand, let's not have hypocrisy get in the way. Washington's body of work was better than any other Pac-12 body of work. It was. It was awful, but it was better than the rest.
So, yeah, and by that logic, I can agree with the part where Cal shouldn't have got in if Washington's not going to get in.
Yep.
And that's where I see it. I would say that, otherwise, there's other ways you could look at it. But from that logic, totally agree with you because, if Cal's getting in, Washington's got to get in because Washington was more impressive than Cal.
Gotcha. So here's a fun little tidbit. Colorado. Talk about a great move. Maybe not so much in football, but to get out of the Big 12 and get over to that Pac-12 and win their inaugural Pac-12 tournament champions. I mean, come on. Nice move, Colorado.
Oh, yeah, because they were certainly leaving the first night out of the Sprint Center.
Yep.
And they go Pac-12. Like, hey.
Yeah, let's win the whole thing. Yeah. Let's go to that tournament as an automatic qualifier because that's the only way we're getting in.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Can you imagine if Colorado doesn't win that and let's say Washington does, it's Washington and Cal, or let's say Cal wins it, do they only get one team in?
According to...
If Cal won it all, they would only get one team in.
According to... That's what I'd say.
Unless Washington was going to steal that Colorado spot. Or you might have given that to Drexel. That's a bad power conference.
At least no one gave it to Northwestern, who didn't deserve to be in there.
Yeah, 18 and 13.
No big wins. Iowa had more big wins than Northwestern.
The only thing I have a problem with that is West Virginia got in.
West Virginia got hosed in the Syracuse game, though, so I have no problem with that because they got...
With the goaltending?
Yeah. That wasn't... Yeah.
Okay.
Clearly goaltending.
But still 19 and 13 versus Drexel's 25 and 7 or 27 and 5. I would have probably taken Drexel over West Virginia.
Well, but the Big East, and granted there's 16 teams, but you got 9 of them in the tournament. I'm okay with that because the Big East much better conference than Drexel's.
I'll give you that. I don't think. I mean, as the third best conference this year, 9.
I mean, that's like saying
because they were predicting at one point Big 12, which was the second best conference, only getting like 4 in.
Well, that doesn't make sense either. But it's like saying the Missouri Valley should get more teams than what they got, and they got 2, and that's good.
Oh, I understand you there, but I'm not sold on West Virginia. It's nice to see them out there. Obviously, they're coming to the Big 12 next year, but 19 and 13, you just got to show me something a little more. I don't know what huge wins they had in conference. I saw some losses that they had in conference, but
most of the time I saw them lose.
Yeah, that was the only one that kind of I didn't think should be in. I don't know enough about Iona to really make a judgment call there. That's the one that they were fighting over. Is it Iona or Drexel? Is it Iona or Drexel? But
or the Gales.
Yeah, we'll let them in. Other than that, I think another shaft, but I mean obviously in the tournament was Missouri. First time ever that a 30-win BCS Power Conference team did not get a number 1 seed. Even though we hate Missouri.
I do, but they could have been 1 seed. Michigan State could have been a 2 seed. I think the committee is like, well, if the Big Ten's the best conference, they have to
have one in there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that Michigan State's record. I mean, they played a tough conference or a tough schedule, and that's probably what did it for them is that schedule. But if you are 30-4 or 30-5 or whatever it is, and you're in a BCS, that's at that point, would you take a look at knocking North Carolina out of a number 1 spot? Maybe. They didn't win their tournament championship.
No, I don't know. That's tough.
I mean, okay, let's say I'll leave Michigan State in. I think you get rid of North Carolina. They didn't. Did they win 30 games? I don't think they did.
No.
And they didn't win their conference championship.
But North Carolina played a much tougher non-conference schedule.
True, the Missouri.
Missouri was in the 200s.
Yeah.
And they really, they talked about it on the shows too. Iona was in the 200s. Missouri was in the 200s. Iowa, I think, was in the 300s. That's why they didn't make it.
You were this close. That close.
17 and 16. Nearly got it.
You almost got in there.